Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for the panel discussion, the chat discussion with my CIO peers here about trends and challenges in the enterprise mobility. And it's really a pleasure for me to welcome really three great CIOs out of Europe. First of all, I'd like to introduce Inge Opril. She is the CIO of TMVW, which is the Belgian utility company for water production, distribution, with over 500,000 customers in over 84 cities in Belgium. Thank you so much for joining us. In the middle, we have Vincent Santa Cruz. He's the CIO of Poste Italiane, so the Italian Post, here also joining us, Head of Research and Innovation. And we have the CIO of Kingfisher and CEO of Kingfisher Information Technology Services, Mike Bell. Kingfisher is the European largest home improvement retailer with over almost 1,000 stores in 8 countries, and it's the third largest one in the world. So, gentlemen and Inge, thank you so much for joining us for the next half an hour. For your information, we have also the chance to interact afterwards. We have a discussion room here. After 30 minutes, you have the opportunity to talk to the panel and ask your questions. So let me start with the enterprise mobility. And for me, the enterprise mobility topic is really an important and a hot topic for a lot of CIOs. If you look at the numbers of mobile devices, last year, over 600 million smartphones were sold globally. In comparison, only 360 million laptops and desktop. And looking at the latest research figures, the numbers of desktop and laptop sales is coming down even for the last few quarters. And for me, it's also amazing that most of us we have an iPad. Around about 110 million iPads is the number for this year that the research firms predict. And 50% out of the 110 million devices is enterprise related. The number will go up to 250 million in the next 2 years. So what I'm saying is we are in the middle of a big change, that our working environment will change through mobility. And so let me start with Inge about, so what's your role and responsibility in driving mobility in your business at TMVW?
My role is to make sure that there's for TMVW strategy in place to go mobile. So I'm taking that up, yes.
So you drive the enterprise mobile strategy and activity, your portfolio, is that correct?
Yes. That's
okay, great. Vincent, from your side, so what's your role? How you drive the enterprise mobility for the Italian Post?
As you stated, I'm responsible for research innovation in Poste Italiane.
Yeah.
And mobility strategy is something quite important, especially in terms of enterprise, because as we all know, on the consumer side, it's just a question of building or not building apps and putting them there in the different market stores. Working in mobility in terms of enterprise, so how it affects your business processes is all another discussion. And it is very much related to device management platform, which is the system integrator and which are the partners you rely on building the applications, and how you manage the re-engineering of the processes, because what as CIOs we don't have to do is just put technology on as is processes. Mm-hmm. So I think that the major critical success factor is understand how mobile changes the way you work. Mm-hmm. And that's what we are concentrating on a lot.
Very good. Mike, so how you drive enterprise mobility at Kingfisher?
Well, the 2 elements really. There's the customer experience. Fantastic. I mean, the customer's driving how we do business now. And that's mobile commerce. And we have one business where about 10% of the turnover is now mobile commerce. Apps that actually help people do DIY. We're a DIY retailer, home improvement. It's very interesting. I don't know how many guys in here do DIY. So who knows how to change a radiator? If you come to me, we have apps that show you how to change a radiator. And then there's general information apps. Are you buying the right tool to do the right job. When you have a choice of 60, for example, drills, are you getting the right drill for the right job? So all that stuff around customer-facing, commerce and helpfulness of customers. And then in our enterprise, of course, it's about efficiency and effectiveness. Making sure the right stock's on the shelf, making sure we're ordering the right stock, making sure that people on the shop floor, and our shops are 30,000 square feet to 200,000 square feet, finding colleagues on the shop floor and having information and voice communication together is a big important element for us as we go into efficiency. So that's what we do.
So it's amazing for me listening to you, what you said is about 10%, it's already mobile e-commerce.
And one 10%. Of our businesses, 10%.
So how did you start and when did you start to get to this point right now in driving this enterprise mobility?
Well, I mean, I guess retail have been pretty lucky. Retail started, if you think, with mobility in the 90s. We used to do goods receipt, finding stock. So we've had mobility in retail for a long time. The last 3 years, I guess, we've seen a big up change as we're driven by the customer. So we all look at now systems of record and systems of engagement. And the systems of engagement are really the customer forcing us to do business differently. So I guess as a CIO, I feel now driven by customer requirement as opposed to efficiency requirement. And the first thing we did, we've been into e-commerce for a very long time. We get about 22 million customers per month on e-commerce. We've now taken that e-commerce on one of our e-commerce sites is now mobile. So really we've been moving to mobile slowly, but effectively for quite a long time. It's slowly because we're not very quick. Effectively it makes us money, but we just can't keep up with customer demand. Actually, it's the customer that's driving it for us. Mm-hmm. But 10% in one of our business, absolutely.
And so 10%, so what's your forecast prediction? What do you think? Is it 20, 30% that you can reach, or is it more 2, 3, 4 years?
I think we had a very interesting little project. We did a thing called Click, Buy, Collect. So you click on a product on your mobile, you physically buy it, and then you go to a shop and you collect it. We thought that was just a nice to have. And we did it in my little company, the one that's got 10% mobile commerce. And we did it in that company. I think we did over a period of about 6 weeks. Very inexpensive, little trial. We built it, we put it out there. And in about 6 weeks, we were getting 15, 20% of our business through that one function. Mm-hmm. And actually, what really amazed us is that particular business is multi-channel. So it's an internet business, a call center business, and has physical outlets. And we found customers were standing in the physical outlets, click buying and collecting as they got to pay at the till.
Yeah.
But we didn't expect that. We did not see 20% of our business go that quickly. Mm. So back to you, answering your question, I have no idea.
Okay. Vincent, coming to the Italian Post, I think there must be huge opportunities also looking at the mail delivery. How did you start and when did you start?
Yes, we started in 2008, and the idea was, let's put technology on the segment of the process where there was no technology. And I'm talking specifically about the last mile. Everybody's used to see his mailman with his bag, piece of paper, a pen, and nothing else. So everything's paper-based with back office activities, and as you can imagine, when you have to rewrite in a system something manually acquired, errors, mistakes, time frame that is not what you're expecting it to be, and no real-time information. So what we did at the beginning is imagine our mailman with a mobile device, a mobile printer, and a mobile point of sales. First of all, to create efficiency, improve our quality, and motivate our employees, our mailmen, and educate them at the use of technology. In the second moment, we start thinking, if we build an infrastructure, if we build the technology, and we put it in that place, it becomes a new channel. So our mailman, especially in the recent years with mail volumes that unfortunately are dropping and communications are moving from paper to digital, we want to rethink the idea of our mailman. try and start, and we already did it, to think as a mailman, as a new sales channel, with the kind of strategy, mobile strategy, of bringing our post office at the house of our final clients. So
it's amazing to hear that the mail person becomes a salesperson and do cross-selling. No? So it's interesting to see that mobility can trigger that and enable that at the end. No? So in your company, when did you start that, and what was the first step?
Well, we started out in 2009, and like Vincent said, we also took out the process that wasn't supported by any technology, and that is the process of the maintenance of oral assets and by the field workers. We provided them with a mobile device and a mobile application, not only to bring back the data in real time back to us, but also to provide the field workers with all the necessary information they need to repair the pipes, search for the pipes, and so on. That was the first process we supported it in the mobile area.
And do you have a mobile roadmap that maybe other processes are next? What are those processes, for example?
The next processes are the meter readings with our customer, the yearly meter readings, where we will bring a mobile device but also build some apps so people can follow it. And then another process is bringing to the customer real-time information about their requests they demanded for us. So they will be building an app so they can follow the status of their payments or the requests they didn't do for a new home connection or whatever.
So how you decide on those business processes? Is it a joint decision with the business, or are you driving this more from an innovation perspective?
This is from an innovation perspective, but it's also embedded in the TMVBW strategy. So it's we made up our plan and then we embedded it in the strategy, because one of the main focuses now for the next year is a higher customer satisfaction.
Good. Vincent, beside the enabling the mail person for sales activities, is there any other business processes that you considered looking into?
we started already some years ago, because as you can all imagine, the logistic process is a process where you have time frames, you have steps that you have to go one to the other. You have to deliver mail at least almost all of it the day after. So there are some time schedules where you have to manage bad weather, temperature, strikes, just like we're facing in Madrid today, and you still have to deliver your mail. So what is the major challenge when we talk about enterprise mobility, in which process you want to go live in mobile, is understand that is the information necessary to have it right now, or it's something you can do later when you're in your office? When you get that answer, you know you have to go mobile. So that's the major challenge, is not do things that are nice to have mobile, but maybe you don't really need it there, but you just do it because it's cool. In Postaliane, we always make ourselves that kind of question. Is it a competitive advantage to have it mobile? Does it make us work better? Does it motivate us? Does it permit us to tune, rephrase, replan, because I get the information real time? This is what's addressing us. So you will see mobility in our airport hubs. So we know if the plane, because as you can imagine, if a plane leaves a little bit later, when it arrives at destination, all the activities get later, so that all the mail will get in the sorting machine later, it will get in the delivery offices later, we'll get to the mailman later. So understand real time, and so reorganize our trucks. And as you can imagine, having all our mailmen with mobility makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference in knowing where is our mailman, how he's delivering, and giving back information and data to our customer. So with mobility, you're able real time to get that information, get it in your central databases. So at that point, start rethinking your business and getting a lot more in the concept of value-added services.
But at the end, what you're saying, listening to you, is that two megatrends are coming together. One is that you drive also real-time business processing. So we're driving also from that perspective, and then the mobile enablement defines a new user pattern and also a new user experience at the end.
Absolutely.
That only looking at both trends can be enabled through the combination of both.
Absolutely.
So the big data, maybe also in memory technology in the future, moving our core system, systems of records into that position, and then have the capability to update those information through mobile device and consume that, is a new experience at the end.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Mike, do you see that also? You know, looking ahead, you started with first business processes. What could be the next? And maybe also, what do you think? If we meet again in 5 years, are we totally mobile?
I think I'm a retailer, so my own view is we'll never totally be mobile. Amazon's fantastic, but it's great to go and look and feel product. So it's going to be multi-channel, absolutely multi-channel. I think the term mobile interests me. I think it's about device, it's not just mobile. So we are getting people by pad, by phone, by smart TV.
Yeah.
I don't know what the next device is going to be. So I think the device will drive a lot of that. I think the other thing that we're finding is how much customers want to do stuff themselves, and we have to help them. So, you know, taking a photograph of your room and putting in a piece of furniture, so you get that augmented reality. Actually, that's a really helpful tool for them, particularly if it's my product they're putting into their room. So content will be a big driver for us in the future. So I have little idea where it's going to go. I just know it's going to change. And we have to be device independent. We have to have great content. We actually have to have all the facilities so people can walk into our shop and get mobile customers and colleagues. And I just see it happening more and more, but how, I have no idea. I just think I think the customer will drive this. I think the customer will identify things he wants to do or she wants to do, and we will just have to absolutely deploy actively, quickly.
So do you think that maybe in 2-3 years we don't have any desktops?
I don't think so. I think that there always will be a type of workers who will need a desktop to do the day-to-day things, but everybody who is mobile it will be a combination of both. I think they will have a desktop and a mobile device, bring their own devices, as we see with the younger people flowing into our company. They have their own devices. They are an iPad fan or Android fan, whatever. So that's one thing we will surely have to focus on.
So what you're saying is that in the past, you know, usually you have only provided one corporate devices, and now I think we're moving definitely into more provided choice. Is that correct?
To provide both devices or let them bring their own devices.
So that's another important topic. So do you agree that that we as a CIO, we have to provide choices to our end users? Second, how do you see the bring your own device topic? Vincent, what do you think?
Okay, about the bring your own topic device, I would distinguish a lot among industries.
Okay, you said depending on industry.
I could imagine a consultancy company where consumerization of IT has a higher degree. I could imagine a company like a postal operator where that doesn't happen. I agree that one of the major challenges for the future for ICT departments is build applications that are ready, projected and planned in order to run multi-device. So I'm convinced that the same application, the same functionality may need to run on a smartphone, on a tablet, or on a desktop. About being completely mobile in terms of devices, I'm not quite sure of that, because I'm still convinced that there are certain kind of activities that need a desktop or need a keyboard, a physical keyboard, a mouse, and that cannot be done with a virtual keyboard and stuff like that.
But Mike, looking at your users, how big is the pressure to provide the latest state-of-the-art mobile devices? Like in my cases, I got a few weeks before the iPhone announcement already first email saying, Oliver, when is the iPhone available inside SAP? Similar pattern on your side?
Yeah, what happens in my business is that the top 200 people want new stuff all the time. We have about 70,000 people, I think actually bring your own is important for my 70,000 people, because that allows my usual colleagues, people on the shop floor, to start connecting together. So it's that virtual networking to learn about our business, our customers, what works best in the shop. So bring your own, I think, will operate in that area for me, because I don't want to give 70,000 people terminals. At the top end, the top 250 people, the day the iPhone came out, I think 5 of them asked for it. I'm not helped, by the way, because I have the senior guy of Apple in Europe sits on my board and often comes in and shows people the next device. So they're already ordering the next device. And we have, I think what will happen is we'll have a portfolio of devices. So, for example, I carry an iPad. I play with an Android just to see what it's like. I have a desktop. I carry it, and actually I've got probably 50 guys who are executives do the same, and they almost become consumer devices. And I just have to be very quick, and I have to just deploy to them quickly. But as Vincent said, we have to make sure that whatever we build can be deployed, and it is a challenge. Small screen, mobility, we've got a plan for it.
So what you're saying is that the consumer technology is impacting our enterprise business because it generates a demand on our user side for something beautiful, and they want to have this not after a few months, they want to have it now. And we have choices, and also you said we have to enable personal devices. Because I also believe that the younger generation coming from college or university, they don't want to have 2 devices, and they don't separate personal and business life. Looking at their Facebook accounts, they don't. I have 2 accounts, but those kind of generation, this generation, I think they're going for one account.
I mean, kids come to work now and are disappointed that our enterprise systems aren't as good as stuff they can do themselves. Mm-hmm. That's the challenge. But as CIOs, I guess we have to keep systems of record are very structured. But actually people don't think that way, particularly the younger generation. So my customers, I have to keep up with. And they are very savvy. They're very savvy.
Also, looking at England, your business, how critical, what's the key learning? Because meeting CIOs, always the security topic comes up. How you deal with that topic, securing mobile devices for your workforce?
Well, at the moment we are securing a mobile device by the Microsoft System Center at the moment, but we are planning for next year, as we plan on also an increase in our mobile devices, to plan a Sapphire to help manage them. At the moment we have about 1,000 mobile devices, so it's starting to get critical.
Mm-hmm. And Vincent, on your side, you said you're already using Sapphire as a mobile device management. Yes. Can you share with our audience how you manage security with Sapphire?
Okay. In Poste Italiane, as Inge said, we are a Microsoft compliant company in terms of business processes running. And we also were lucky to be chosen by Microsoft as an early adapter and first wave program Windows 8. So we already adopted Windows 8 last March. Some issues connected to security, we are resolving them in the mobile arena with solutions like BitLocker and whatever Microsoft 8 is bringing on the market. And on the other side, mobility is important, especially for large companies like Poste Italiane that have a lot of externals coming inside our network. We are managing with solutions like Windows to Go, so with sticks that be sure that what they do on your network is compliant. Sapphire is a great platform that is helping us a lot, both on the business side, because it permits us to monitor and tune each single device and see what's going on that device, where it physically is and what it's doing at that moment. From a technical point of view, it's granting us all the information we need in order to be sure of the state of of our devices and that they're properly working in terms of versioning of the software. Is there any data up there not cleaned up correctly? If it's lost, we know in real time that it's lost, if it's stolen, if it's broken, if it goes in maintenance without being cleaned up and stuff like that. So Sapphire is exactly that kind of platform, multi-OS, multi-device, that is permitting us to manage correctly all our environment, all our assets that are all around, spread around the country.
Good.
Mike, I think I've got a lot of mobile devices that cost me a lot of money. I don't know when they're working. I don't know when they've left the shop. So Sapphire is very important to me. Presently we're using Good, and we are about to move to Sapphire. So we also have some slightly different things, I guess, is we operate in certain countries where what we would see as standard security actually is against the law. They don't want us to do it. So you go to Russia, you need to be careful. You go to China, they have some certain instances there which are quite strange. I'm not keen that my guys carry iPads when they go into certain countries. Fortunately, I'm not in oil, where I certainly wouldn't let them carry iPads. And of course, we have PCI compliance, so we don't carry credit card details. That's what people are mainly after.
Yeah.
But I see Sapphire as being particularly important to us in the future.
Okay, so having a mobile device management is key. If you have a diversity of devices, if you want to enable those in a timely manner, new ones, and then also from a bring your own device, you need also a backbone to manage them too. So Inge, what's your, very successfully introduced enterprise mobility, what's your key recommendation to the audience, and what do you believe in your business maybe could be the next killer app?
Well, one of the lessons we've learned and we try to implement it now in every step is when you bring a group of users on a mobile platform, that you involve them in the beginning within the project. Let them choose the user interface, listen to them, where do they want and where do they need their buttons, which things should be highlighted, so that you can make them work more efficiently, that they need what they know they need in the field, that they can see it at the moment they need it. So the next killer app, I don't know, I think TMVW is certainly looking into augmented reality because we have a lot of very complex installations where there's not the knowledge, nobody knows those installations by head, so where you can help them to maintain those installations. That's something we're looking at.
So Vincent, as a CIO in the audience, should I wait for that the mobility should more mature? Or do you think it's right now we should start and build the learning curve and drive the transformation?
I think we are already in a mature moment, so I think we're at the top of that learning curve. And as ICT departments, we have to understand that the rules changed. We have to involve a lot more our user already in the earlier stages, and we have to be a lot more demand-driven.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it means educate each other, and as I said earlier, give multiple choices and think and concentrate on finding out development platforms that permit you easily to deploy multi-platform and multi-device. I think that is the winning choice.
Okay. Mike, based on your experiences, what's your recommendation here?
Well, actually, I think it's interesting when we talk about killer apps. Actually, I see this can change a business model. You can actually have new propositions. And we have a couple of new businesses which we are using these sort of apps to build new businesses. China is a particularly interesting place for us. DIY doesn't exist in China because labor's so cheap. What they're really interested in is do it for me, but do it with style and panache. So we are using apps, mobile, linked to content management, so that people can design their own houses and what they look like with augmented reality. Actually share that knowledge with their friends, because the Chinese are really proud of what they do. They like to show off. And then actually we then deliver that new house and new experience for them. And access to our systems of record, they can then track where we are in the process of delivering their project. So all of the apps come together, and it gives them a very vivid experience of what our product can do for them and how they live. So I think that's not a killer app, it's a killer proposition.
Well said, Mike. From my perspective, finishing up here is, I think, for the CIOs, for the IT organization, I think it's a great opportunity to drive this enterprise mobility. It's the chance to be in the driver's seat and driving enablement of state-of-the-art mobile devices, provide choices, bring the personal devices into the corporation in a secure and professional way, and also provide application that moves business processes on mobile devices and enable scale, flexibility, and also agility. So from that perspective, I think I want to thank the panelists here for really sharing their thoughts, insights, and experiences. And again, I think for me, it's a great motivation that there's much more to come in the enterprise mobility. Having said that, I want to invite you also to join us for the Q&A session here in the Q&A room. And thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you.